We've talked a lot about the Walt Disney World theme parks the last few weeks. This week, we are going to talk about the water parks. This is episode 50. I'm Soraya.
I'm Aurora.
And together, we're just your average Disney travelers. So Disney World is so much more than just the theme parks. There's lots of things that you can do there, not just the four theme parks, the main theme parks we've talked about. This week, we're going to talk about the water parks.
Yep.
There are two. What are the names?
Typhoon Lagoon and Blizzard Beach.
And we've been to both. But you probably really only remember Blizzard Beach.
Yeah, I don't remember Typhoon Lagoon.
I think you were 5.
Yeah.
When we did both in the same trip. And then we haven't always done it because it depends on the time of the year and what else we're doing and what kind of trip it is.
Last time we went, wasn't it like closed or something?
It might have been because it was in February, and often during the winter they'll take turns taking a break. So that they can do refurbishments and things. Yeah. Currently, though, we're still seeing some of the COVID effects, and so currently Typhon Lagoon is not open. Mm-hmm. In fact, I believe it was closed for its regular cleaning, and it was scheduled to open, and then COVID closed everything before it could open, and so it's still waiting to reopen. Currently, though, Blizzard Beach is open in Walt Disney World, even during COVID, and I'm not sure when Typhoon Lagoon is going to reopen. But we're going to talk about both because they're both great parks and a lot of fun. Typhoon Lagoon we'll start with. It was the first water park at Walt Disney. Well, no, it was not the first water park at Walt Disney World. There is another water park that actually closed in, I think it was around 2001. It's been out of operation for 20 years, but the first of the two that are currently open is Typhoon Lagoon. It opened June 1st, 1987. The cat just jumped on Aurora's lap, and she was putting her face right by the microphone, so if you hear her breathing or purring, that's the cat. Okay, so Typhoon Lagoon. The story goes that a typhoon wreaked havoc on a formerly pristine tropical paradise. Now there were ships and fishing gear and surfboards thrown all over, just left wherever the storm flung them. The centerpiece of the park is Miss Tilly, a shrimp boat impaled upon a mountain named Mount Mayday. This mountain erupts a 50-foot geyser of water every half hour right up through the boat. Okay, so you've got some fun facts for us on this park.
Typhoon Lagoon has 12 attractions, 10 food locations, and 1 store.
And keep in mind, those food locations are all pretty basic. They're all just like
quick service.
Yeah, and shacks and things like that.
Yeah. A full lap around the park is about half a mile and will take about 10 minutes to walk. There used to be a shark reef where guests could swim with sharks, rays, and fish.
And I remember that. That was probably one of my favorite parts about the park.
I remember the rays, I think.
Yeah.
Either that or I'm thinking of Discovery Cove.
You're probably, if you're remembering swimming with them, that's Discovery Cove.
Okay, never mind.
Because I think there was, if I remember right, there was a height limit. I can't remember for sure, but I don't know that you went on, you swam with the sharks. I did, and I think Acadia did, but it was a lot colder water than the rest of the park. But it was cool because they had down below, and they kept the water colder at the bottom anyways so that the sharks weren't going to be swimming up near people. And they were like nurse sharks and the ones that are not aggressive. But you could swim over and you'd see these sharks, and it'd be pretty cool. But it was basically I remember. You remember parts of it? You basically swam straight across. You couldn't like just hang out and swim all over.
Yeah.
And you had a snorkel, so you could swim down if you want.
I think I remember that.
I
was with Dad.
Yeah, because they had openings underneath where you could watch the swimmers. So the people who were going across, you could watch them do that. But anyhow, it closed. It's not there anymore. It was a neat attraction. They have something else taking its place now, though. What other? Let's see. We've got some highlights. So the attractions.
So there is a Surfset wave pool. It's the largest wave pool in North America.
Yeah, it's one of the largest in the world.
Yeah. The waves vary slightly in strength and size, but it's known for its 6-foot swells that are large enough to surf on. A chalkboard near the edge of the pool lists the wave schedule, so you can plan ahead to be there at the size of wave you're interested in.
Yeah, so they alternate between doing smaller, like bobbing type waves, and then the big swells that are 6 feet tall, and they'll come every like 90 seconds, and it's pretty fun. Acadia, your sister and dad loved doing that. You were little, and so you would do it a little bit, but you couldn't go out deep with them. You'd like just stand at the edge when the waves. Yeah, you had little legs.
Yeah.
But anyhow, yeah, I think that this was the reason why this park was their favorite of the water parks, the 2 water parks. I think honestly for our family, and I don't know, you don't remember much of Typhon Lagoon, so you can't really judge between the 2, but for our family, Typhon Lagoon has been our favorite. We really like it.
Even not remembering anything, I'm pretty sure I would
agree.
I would. That would be my favorite.
I think so too. I think you would like the wave pool now.
Yeah.
And the type of ride, the slides and different ride attractions that they have, I think you would like. I mean, there's going to be ones that you like at both, but yeah. So our family has really, really liked the Typhon Lagoon park. We do also like Blizzard Beach, but we've had more experience. Well, I wouldn't say more experience, but our preference has been Typhon Lagoon. Okay, so another ride there is the Crush and Gusher. It's a 400-foot long tube coaster with powerful water jets that propel you uphill, as well as obviously going downhill. That you don't even need anything to propel you going downhill, but it propels you up, so you're not just getting pushed downhill, you're getting pushed up the hill as well. There are some of the dips can be a little steep, so be aware of that. It's not just an easy going thing. It's quite a fast ride. You can ride either 2 people or single. And I think what it is there's 3 tubes, three slides. They're pretty similar, but 2 of the tubes you have to have somebody with you. It has to be a double, a pair. And one of the tube can be single. And that does make it kind of tricky if you have an odd number group, because that makes it so you can't just all ride down the same tube necessarily. But anyways, yeah, so that's a fun one. I remember actually, I think I have a picture of you waiting in the pool where they splashed down at, and Acadia was riding it by herself, and then later she went with Dad too, and you and I were waiting at the bottom, and I have a picture of you watching them come down. Yeah, it was fun. All right, so what are some other rides?
There's Miss Adventure Falls, a family-friendly raft ride, about 2 to 4 people. This is the first water attraction in Florida that transports its guests in their rafts up to the top of the slide. It allows for a longer ride time and also saves you from having to climb up to the top of the attraction. Ride time is about 2 minutes, and it's the longest attraction at Typhoon Lagoon.
Yeah, we have not done that one because it was not up and running. In fact, this is, I believe, what took the place of where the reef was, shark reef was. But it sounds like fun. It sounds like something I'd love. I love the family raft rides. Those are fun.
Yeah.
And it is pretty cool that it actually, you ride up it too in your raft. So that way you don't have to carry your raft, because some of the other raft rides you have to carry to the top of stairs and it's awkward. But, okay.
Yeah. Then there's Humunga Cowabunga. Did I say that right?
Humunga Cowabunga.
Yeah. The most intense and thrilling ride at Typhoon Lagoon. It has a 214-foot drop at a 60-degree angle, which is near vertical, and it's all in the dark.
Yeah, so when we get to Blizzard Beach, that has a huge plunging type of ride. This is a lot smaller, shorter, but it's the same idea, except that, like you said, it's in the dark. So you don't even really know, and I guess maybe that might make it less scary because you can't see how tall up you are, and maybe you don't realize it's like over before you know it, or I don't know.
But then also the anticipation, because you can't tell when.
Yeah.
Though for some people, I guess that might help.
Yeah.
I guess, I don't know.
I don't like those drop rides personally. They scare me. I'm a wuss when it comes to those. I love all the other slides, but I can't do those drops. Okay, so here's something more on my level. The Castaway Creek, which is basically the lazy river that goes around Typhon Lagoon. And at Typhon Lagoon, the way it works is you've got the wave pool right in the center. It's huge. You can't miss it. If you look at a map, I mean, it just takes up half the park. And then you've got the lazy river that goes around that. And then on the other side of the lazy river, on the outside, you've got your attractions going around the park. And so during the lazy river, you've got multiple stops where you can get out. So you could take the lazy river to one of the areas where you want to ride some attractions or do some activities. And you just pick up a inner tube wherever you get in and you leave it wherever you get off, or you could swim it without a tube or whatever you want to do. But it takes about 20 minutes to go full circle on this lazy river. And then the last area that we're going to talk about for this park is the Ketchikan Creek. Now, I remember you playing at this. I don't know if you remember it, but it's basically the kiddie part, the kid area. You have to be under 4 feet to be able to play there, and it just has.
I can't play there anymore.
Not anymore, not anymore. But you did when you were 5.
I was looking forward to that. That was, oh my gosh, gosh dang it.
The small water slides. They had sand pits where you could build sand castles. And, just small shallow pools and splash areas and things. I remember they had like a tugboat feature. It was like a splash area where it had cannons and you could shoot water. And I remember some punk kids always shooting us. But you and I were at an area below the tugboat in that same area. And you got a hold of a hose and was spraying me.
I remember that.
Yeah, I remember that too. Punk. Okay, so the fun thing about Typhon Lagoon with that wave pool that has these 6-foot swells, they say you can actually surf on. They actually have an extra activity you could purchase or pay for an experience. It isn't something you can do during the normal park hours, but you can make an appointment. You can book a session. But there's 2 different options. There's Learn to Surf Like a Pro, which is basically a surf lesson. And it takes place before the park opens, and it's about $190 per person. Now, that was before COVID, and it's not open yet, so I'm not sure if the prices will have gone up. But that was the last rough price that we saw. And then the other option is actually a private surf session. And this is a lot more, except that this is not a per person cost. It's per session. You get 3 hours, can have up to 25 people. And again, it's before the park opens. So, I mean, think about it. If the park opens at 10 and they're having a couple of these sessions, it's going to be a couple, like if they have I don't know if they do them at the same day. Maybe they alternate days when they do. But still, even at 10, it means you're getting there pretty early. But it's around $1,300 for the session. And then they'll have up to about 100 waves, they say, over the course of the 3 hours that are surfing waves. So those are some fun options if you want to have a little bit of a surfing experience at Typhon Lagoon. Anything else that we want to talk about Typhon Lagoon?
I don't think so.
You don't really have a lot of memories other than the ones I've brought up and you remembered after I said them. So one of the memories I do remember, another memory I recall from Typhon Lagoon, and they have, of course, both water parks have fun ice cream treats and things, and I recall this one that Dad got. Well, I think we shared it, but it just fit Dad so much. It was like a sand pail, a bucket, beach sand bucket, filled with ice cream and toppings. It was a big sundae.
Nice.
And they gave it to you with a shovel to eat it, like a little plastic sand shovel to eat it with. Of course, you can use. Do you kind of remember that? Maybe you remember some photos from it or something, or maybe you do.
Probably. I don't know. The shovel bit
bring back some memories.
It's vaguely familiar. I don't really remember it, but it's like
it sounds familiar. Like doesn't that sound like something Dad would get?
Yeah, totally.
All right, okay, so let's move over to Blizzard Beach. So Blizzard Beach opened April 1st, 1995, and here's the story behind that. So according to Disney legend, a freak snowstorm in the area led to the development of Florida's very first ski resort. I don't know what idiots think, like who would be crazy enough just because of a crazy freak storm to build a resort, but that's okay. So ski lifts were put up, toboggan rides were run.
Florida.
Were laid down. The entire resort.
Not surprised.
There was an entire resort area developed. It blossomed around the snow of mountain. But naturally, the temps returned to normal, and in Florida, those temps don't sustain as a ski resort. And the snow began to melt, and it left behind a waterlogged yet snowless area with ski jumps and chairlifts. So the operators were about to cut their losses when a blue alligator came sliding down Mount Gushmore at top speed. This alligator's name is Ice Gator. He's the mascot. He landed in a pool of melted snow, and the resort operators saw the park's potential. The mountain of snow became Blizzard Beach, the most slushy, slippery, exhilarating water park anywhere. That's if you believe the Disney legend. All right, so what are some fun facts about this one?
Blizzard Beach has 12 attractions, 8 food locations, and 1 store.
And so, same number of attractions, but a couple less options for food.
And a full lap around the park is about a 15-minute walk.
So a bit longer. In fact, I think the way this one works is so Mount Gushmore is in the middle, and then the attractions go down from it, like with water slides come out of Mount Gushmore. And so then the lazy river actually goes around the perimeter more instead of kind of in the middle, like Typhon Lagoon. So the lazy river is a bit longer. All right, so let's talk about some of the attractions.
So there's Summit Plummet, the tallest and fastest water ride at Blizzard Beach and one of the tallest, fastest free fall body slides in the world. It's a 12-story near vertical drop.
Yeah, so a bit taller than those ones that we were just talking about at Typhoon Lagoon.
Yeah.
Again, you're not going to see me on that one. This one's not in the dark, though. This is all out in the open. You can watch everyone do it, and I just get anxious every single time. I'm like, you people are crazy! But, you know, somehow they all survive. Yeah. Well, I mean, and no matter what, you're going to get down, you're going to get a wedgie. It's just like, it can't be comfortable landing at the bottom. It just forces all that water. No, thank you. Okay, so to get up there,
it's a real reason why you won't go on.
One of, but also because I don't like those vertical drops. Okay, so you can take the stairs all the way from the bottom up, but why would you do that when you can take the chairlift? So you could, and this will take you up to the point, and there's still going to be a few stairs if you're at Summit Plummet, if that's where you're going to, but it drops you off near the top of that, and it also drops you off near 2 other attractions. Those are going to be Slush Gusher and Steamboat Springs. But keep in mind this chairlift is a one-way ride. So it's a fun, relaxing, kind of calm ride up to the top there. And then you have to get off, and you have to either walk down or choose one of those rides to ride down because you cannot take the chairlift back. All right, so I said one of the attractions there, in addition to Summit Plummet, is Slush Gusher. It's a body slide, and it's one for those who are not like me. They're not quite ready for the Summit Plummet, but it's still a fun slide, and it's a 90-foot ride. It has 2 rolling hills. It's not quite as steep, and you still get pretty quick. You reach up to 35 miles per hour on that one. I think I heard that you reach up to 60 miles per hour on the Summit Plummet. So not as quick, but it feels fast when you're going on it. And that's a fun one.
Yeah. Then there's Steamboat Springs, a family raft ride. It's up to 6 people. At 1,200 feet, this is one of the world's longest group whitewater raft rides.
We've done that a few times. We've done that as a family, and we've also done that with Debbie and Lucas and Molly.
I remember that one.
It is a lot of fun. I like the family raft rides a lot. So it's a fun one. It'll keep you, kind of twirling around, just going down around the curves and everything. And they have other little, opportunities to get sprayed and splashed. And anyways, it's a fun one. And it has a fun photo op at the bottom, because when you get down to the bottom and you lose your raft, you get out of your raft, they have one set up that's Mickey head shape, and you can take a photo there. Sometimes they have PhotoPass photographers there, but sometimes you might have to selfie it. But yeah, it's a cool photo op.
Then there's Runoff Rapids, a 3 enclosed water slides that spin and push you through until you reach the end where you splash down in a pool.
Okay, so it's a set of 3 different. Bless you. Bless you. Okay, so it's so a set of three different.
You said it before.
Well, I can see that you were about to. Okay, what's the next one?
The downhill double dipper. This set of tube slides is actually designed with a timer, so you can race your friends or family members down and see who had the fastest time. The two high-speed 50-foot slides are enclosed, so you won't know how your competitor is doing until you reach the bottom and see who made it first.
Yeah, so that's a fun one.
Yeah.
Okay, and the toboggan racers, because the other one, the one you just talked about, the downhill double dipper is for two different slides, so two racers can race each other at the same time.
Yeah, and it can't see the other.
Yeah, the toboggan racers, an entire group of 8, they have up to 8 lanes, can race at once, and it's all open to each other. They're right next to each other, and this is they're not tube slides. It's actually one of those where you lay on your stomach. They give you a mat. You lay on your stomach and you go head first.
It doesn't work very well for at least for me.
That's because I think the last time when you went, you were so little.
I did it when we went with Debbie.
Well, that's true, but still, the heavier you are, the faster you'll go. I think it's like weight will contribute to your speed. Because Dad always beat us whenever we were all racing.
Well, that's not a surprise.
So anyways, it's a 250-foot slope, pretty gentle. I mean, it's got a little bit of hills too, but it's not scary. It's not steep.
Yeah.
It's pretty family friendly there. Another attraction is the Meltaway. Oh, and here's this wave pool, the Meltaway wave pool. Meltaway Bay wave pool. It's a lot more low key than the Typhon Lagoon wave pool. This one only has the entire time. It's just got rolling, bobbing waves. They're a lot lower, easier for children. So instead of having to check the time to see when it's going to be higher waves or not, it's always the same. So it's a lot easier for those who just prefer those bobbing waves. It's still fun, not extreme though. It's not going to, those people who like to do the body surfing and stuff, you can't really do a lot of that with this one.
Nope.
All right.
Cross Country Creek, one of the longest lazy rivers in the entire country. It takes about 30 minutes to complete the loop.
Yeah, so just like we said before, this one goes the perimeter instead of kind of in the middle. So it is a lot longer. But still, it has those stops you can get out along the way. So you don't have to do the whole thing at once if you don't want to.
Then there's Tykes Peak, which is the little
kids
area. You have to be under 4 feet. There are multiple smaller slides, splash areas,
waiting pools.
Yeah, waiting pools and sand pits.
So just like the other one, just themed differently, themed to Blizzard Beach.
Any cannons there though.
Probably not. I don't even remember. Yeah. All right, and one last area.
Then there is a ski patrol training camp, a play area geared towards preteens. There are 3 small slides, 1 small zip line, a small ropes course, and a place for swimming.
It does look a lot of fun. The ropes course, I recall, it had like floating what looks like little icebergs underneath that you have to walk on as you're holding onto the ropes as you crossing the water.
Sounds vaguely familiar.
Yeah. It's cute and fun, appropriate for that age group. All right, so those are the main. There may be other. These are just the highlights of some of the more common and more popular, I guess you could say, attractions there. So there's a couple ways you can plus up your day. So I mentioned the surfing at Typhon Lagoon, and that's an option. Another thing is that while you're at either of the parks, you can rent shaded covered spaces for you to enjoy the day, and you rent it basically for the whole day. So there's 2 options at each park, and the equivalents are pretty much, they're very similar as to what you get, and roughly in cost too. So at Typhon Lagoon, they have the Beachcomber Shacks, and at Blizzard Beach, the Polar Patios. And these are basically your cabanas. They're really nice. There's shaded seating for up to 6 people. It comes with a variety of premium amenities, including towels, cushioned seating, a locker, refillable drink mugs for each person, a cooler that's stocked with ice and bottled water, and then plus you've got an attendant that waits on you and checks in on you, make sure you've got everything you need. They will take orders for food, and the food does come at an extra cost, but they'll take care of it and bring it to you. It's very convenient. And the cost does vary based on the time of year and also the parks. So at Typhoon Lagoon, the beachcomber shacks, those run roughly about $300. During the peak of the summer season, it's probably going to be a little bit higher. It varies basically based on the time of year. And then over at Blizzard Beach, the polar patios run about $350. Oh no, wait, did I get that backwards? I got that backwards. It's $350 for the Typhoon Lagoon and $300-ish for Blizzard Beach. And like I said, those are just your, basic roundup cost.
Didn't we get the polar patio?
Yeah, we did the polar patio with your aunt and uncle when we went last time.
Yeah.
And that was super nice. It was really convenient. It was nice that you always had a place to go, and then that was shaded and comfortable. But then it was extra nice, because it rained? Did it rain part of the time we were there?
I think so.
Yeah. And so we had a place where it was ours, and we got to go, and we didn't have to try to rush and find something with everybody else that hadn't reserved a spot. And so that was convenient. And it was just really nice to have someone waiting on us, and we ordered lunch and all that.
Yeah.
And we had the mugs and everything. That was really nice. Now, if that's a little steep, if you're looking for something a little bit less, there is another option. At Typhon Lagoon, they're called Getaway Glen umbrellas. And at the Blizzard Beach, they're called Lodge umbrellas. But basically, now they are umbrellas, shading, seating for up to 4 people. And they do include towels and then a small table to hold your drinks. And that cost is going to be less than $100 for the day. It varies. I saw like around 75-ish, but probably a little higher than that. I'm not sure. It's not as premium. It's not quite as nice, but they are convenient. It's shaded. It's a spot that's for you. And so that's a good compromise.
Yeah.
Okay, so now whether you're going to whichever park, it doesn't matter. There are some things you want to keep in mind. First is that swimwear should always be family appropriate. So,
Yep.
Keep it family friendly. No thongs. All right, what other?
Denim.
Denim.
Denim. So denim and wetsuits are not allowed on some attractions.
Yep, so make sure you're aware of that. And then diaper-aged children must wear either plastic pants or water swim diapers while they're in the pool areas.
Yeah. Like we said before, food options are fairly basic, and they're all quick service, and there are no table service options.
Yeah, so you're going to be seeing things like burgers and hot dogs and pizza.
Yeah.
It's like you get like 6 options. It's not a wide range of what to eat. Pretty basic. And then they've got, like I said, some ice cream locations and, stuff like that. Drinks and things.
Yep. Towels and lockers are available to rent, and they are complimentary for those who are staying at the Walt Disney World.
Well, towels are. I don't think
towels are.
I don't think the
That's what I
lockers
meant.
are complimentary.
Yeah, towels are complimentary for those staying at the Walt Disney World Hotel.
Yeah. So any of those on-property resorts, you should be able to get your towels complimentary. Otherwise, they're $2 for a rental. Or you could just bring whatever towel you have at the hotel, but you're going to be lugging back a wet towel, so that's kind of lame.
Yeah.
So if you can just borrow one, whether you're having to pay if you're not staying on property or if you're staying on property, you should be able to get it without any cost. In addition, another thing you can get without cost, anyone who needs a life jacket, those are available complimentary, of course.
Yep. If you're staying on property, there is a complimentary bus transportation to the water parks.
But do keep in mind that it's not the most convenient. Like, they don't have as many buses. You don't usually have a bus that's just for the water park. And so usually it's something like, if you're going to, I think it's Typhon Lagoon that's near downtown Disney. And so it'll drop for both of those locations. And then I believe it's Blizzard Beach that's near Animal Kingdom. I might have gotten those backwards. So it'll double up and you'll be going. And so you may have more than one stop before you get to where you're going. And then also, the one thing that I thought was a major bummer, if you're wet at all by the time you're getting on the bus to go back to your resort, it's cold. I mean, I think you really want to change, but even if like your hair is wet or anything like that,
buses are freezing.
Yeah, the air conditioning, it's just kind of unpleasant. So, so you may want to prefer to Uber. But they do have the complimentary transportation if that's what you prefer.
Yeah. If you're driving there, parking is free.
That's nice because of the parks they're not.
Yeah. And then also
The big thing.
Thunderstorms will bring all attractions to a complete halt.
Yep.
However, regular rainstorms and even downpours won't slow anything down.
Yeah. So if it's raining, doesn't matter. It could be pouring and everything will keep going. But if it's a thunderstorm, of course, they kick everyone out of the water. You have to stay out until they say it's okay to go back. And so it doesn't even have to be that the thunderstorm is over you. It may not be raining at all. But if the thunder and lightning are within 10 miles, then they usually will kick everyone out because just safety. That's just kind of the way it is. It's like that at all the pools and the resorts and the water rides and the parks and everything. But because these parks are all water everywhere, it gets to be where the whole park shuts down.
Yeah.
So keep that in mind. They both are open year round. And even during the winter, usually, obviously, like I said, we've had the Typhoon Lagoon still closed since COVID. But usually both are open year round, and then they'll take turns having their refurbishments during the winter months. They occasionally will close when it's deemed too cold. I heard that it's supposed to be like if the highs are only in the 50s, then they won't open. But I think there's room for it might change sometimes. I don't know if there's one solid number that the high has to be at for it to open versus close, because I think it's varied from time to time. So that might just be whoever's making the decision decides. But in general, it closes very few times a year for weather, for coldness. The pool water, I believe it's heated. I'm pretty sure the water is heated. So even if you're there in the winter, if it's open, you can go and swim comfortably. Of course, once you get out of the water, you might not be so comfortable. But yeah, being in the water, it's still comfortable. If you go during the summer months, of course, it's going to be busier. But if you go in the winter, it can be pretty empty sometimes with just, I've heard people talking about there only being a couple hundred people and you didn't have to wait for anything because there just wasn't a lot of people there. So, but the summer months, you may want to try to get there early if you really want the no wait lines. If you get there in the middle of the day, that's when most people are going to get there. And you're going to look at, 15, 30-minute waits, maybe longer on the biggest attractions. So.
Yeah.
All right. Do you have any other, we didn't really talk about, what are some of your memories from Blizzard Beach? Since that was more recent.
The wave pool.
Yeah, the wave pool there.
Yeah.
Which is kind of a low-key one. Mm-hmm. But it's fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember that day we wore matching bathing suits.
Oh, yeah.
They were Minnie Mouse ones. Mm-hmm. Super cute. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. All right, so those are the water parks at Walt Disney World. And they are fun, and they're worth doing. We don't do it every time, but we enjoy them every time we do. So
yeah,
we'll definitely keep doing them. And then I think going from here, we'll talk about what's left in the world, because there's still more you could do, still more places to go and experience in Walt Disney World. We haven't even finished that, even after all these weeks. Something to note today, we're recording this, and it's what day is today? Do you know?
The 1st of October.
Yeah, it's October 1st, which is Walt Disney World's 50th birthday.
Wait, it is?
It is. Today is the official start to the 50-year anniversary celebration. And so
I did not know that.
By the time this airs, it'll be like the 10th, and so it'll be 10 days later. But today, as we sit here speaking and recording this, it's the start of that celebration. So for the next 18 months, Walt Disney World's going to be celebrating its birthday.
Let's go.
I think we should all celebrate our birthdays for 18 months.
Yeah.
I guess 50 is a big one, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you're due for 18 months, by the time...
I know, by the time you finish, it's already the next year older, but that's okay.
Like, it's multiple, it's like half a year past next year older.
I think it's just, if you do it only for a year, it's really hard. Not everybody can make it. I mean, not everybody can make it in 18 months either, but it gives people a little bit extra time to make it there during the celebration. So.
Yeah.
Here's hoping we make it there during that celebration.
Woo!
I would like to. All right. Well, we're going to sign off for now. Next week, we'll talk about the rest of the world. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll chat with you next week.
See you.